So let's get into the compressor here, Little Devil. My favorite part about the Little Devil compressor is the curve switch on it. It's something I started doing on the germanium compressor, but this came after it. I was able to fine-tune my approach to it, and I wanted to make more difference between the settings. And I think we accomplished it. The settings are very different. It's more so than probably a lot of our units. It's like having two completely different units in one. There's a Zener curve and a germanium curve, and it's switching diodes in the knee circuit on the side chain. Although it's Zener, it's very different from the Zener limiter that we make. I call it a reverse Zener sometimes because it's totally the opposite of the Zener limiter, which is absolutely aggressive, in your face, very vintage. This one is completely the opposite in the way that it's almost probably one of the least aggressive settings I have on our compressors. You have the knee, which almost looks like a filter, if you look what a filter setting looks like, and you have the top kind of curving over at a turnover point. What the Zener curve does is actually it makes the whole curve swing. Instead of actually creating a knee, the whole curve is swinging to the side. So there's almost no knee in it, which makes it very unobtrusive. I wouldn't call it transparent because it's still very colored sounding, but in uses where you want it to be the gain reduction to be controlled, but still colored and a little less obtrusive and aggressive, that's the setting for it, and that's what I was going for. Almost like it kind of reminds me of some of the slower tube sounds, honestly, like the old Altex or something like we were talking about before. When you switch to the germanium curve, not only does it change the knee, but it also changes the time constants. You can see it. You can see how slow it slows down in the Zener mode, and then when you switch up, it instantly starts. The needles start flipping faster. So it's changing all aspects of the compression at that point. The germanium being a much more aggressive FET. It's kind of an in-your-face kind of sound. It is a FET-based compressor, so it's not meant to be a copy of anything, but it has that kind of sound that you expect from FET compressors, where it's in your face. That knee has a really interesting sound to it. So two very different settings with the Little Devil compressor, and I think one of the most attractive parts of it. Some other things that it does, it has the mix control on it, so you can do parallel compression built in the unit, which is also on the germanium compressor. What else? The sidechain filter also, so you can control the low frequency going into it. Great on dense sources like mix, or on kick drums or bass where you really want to tune in how it's grabbing. One of my favorite things about the unit is actually the output or the gain makeup. This unit tends to sound very good when you run the output hot. So I try and run this as high as I can in a lot of situations, because it, like we were talking about with the compressor, it gets fuller, it gets more hairy, as we might say in America, or more balls. Everyone knows that saying. So yeah, you also have release time, attack control, a switchable ratio, a lot of control going on in one little box, and I think one of our best units, really. Little Devil compressor.